You know, divorces are on an all-time high today, and statistics show that most millennials are not getting married. People aren't getting married as often as they used to anymore, and for good reason. So for a brief moment, I want to discuss the reasons why you should never get married before the age of 30. Never get married before the age of 30. Now, once again, as I always say in my videos, these are my thoughts. This is my philosophy. May not necessarily coincide with your thoughts or philosophy, but these are my thoughts and my philosophy. So give me some comments in the comment section and let me know what you think about what I said. And if you can kind of somewhat understand where I'm coming from and why I feel the way I feel. And I'm also speaking from experience also. Been down this road before. So, but at any rate, you should never, ever, ever entertain the thought of getting married before the age of 30. When I first got married, for the first time, I've been married twice. I got married when I was 24 years old. One of the biggest mistakes I could have ever made. One of the biggest mistakes I could have ever made. The one beautiful thing that happened out of that, I had my daughter. And so that was a blessing. But other than that, that was the biggest mistake I could have made. Not so much the marriage itself. I'm not going to necessarily say that was a mistake, because you have to understand and understand that everything happens for a reason. Everything in your life happens for a reason. There's nothing by happenstance. Let's get that out of your head right now. There's nothing by happenstance. Everything that happens for a reason. And the life experiences that we encounter in this life, it makes us stronger people. It makes us better individuals. So there's no such thing as mistakes. Just life lessons that you learn, and you take those life lessons and you incorporate them into your life from that point on, so you won't make the same mistake again over and over and over. You don't want to keep bumping your head up against the wall. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be one of those type of individuals. Let's say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But at any rate, take from the time you're born to the time you're 18 years old. Okay? You're going to school. Okay? You're going to school. You're going to high school, getting your education. Okay? So you spent the first 18 years of your life being educated, going to school, living with your parents. Okay? So that's from the time you're born to 18. Some people decide to go to college. College is not for everybody. I'll do a video about that later. But college is not for everybody. But, however, I do advise that you get some sort of education past high school. Get some sort of education beyond high school. Because in this day and age, in the world that we live in, you're not going to be very successful if you don't have some sort of skill. You have to know how to do something. You have to be able to bring something to the table. Okay? So you have to have some kind of education, whether it be trade school or whatever the case may be. But you have to have some knowledge in something. Okay? So if you decide to go to college, that's from 18 to 22. 4-year degree, maybe 5. If you decide to stay in college a little longer, like some people do, get your master's degree, that's a few more years. So if you decide to go that route, then from the time you're born until you're about 24, 25 years old, you've been in school. You've been at your parents' home and you've been in school. So really, you have no life experiences because you haven't done anything. Everything that you've done thus far, you've done it for others. And you've been going to school trying to get an education. You really haven't lived life yet. You really have not had an opportunity to experience life yet. And that's where I was at. Getting married at 24 years old, I have no knowledge of anything really. I haven't no worldly experiences. Nothing to really bring to the table. Okay? Your 20s are supposed to be what I like to refer to as a selfish period in your life. This goes for both men and women. This goes for both men and women. Go in your 20s and do everything that you're big and bad enough to do. Do it. Enjoy yourself. Go see the world. Go travel. Go out on dates. Go be with other people. Experience the feeling of other people. Just do you. Whatever you feel the need to do, do you. That's what your 20s are for. Get everything out of your system in your 20s. Get everything out. You got some freak in you, get that out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you want to be a freak, ain't nothing wrong with being a freak. Get it out of your system. You want to travel the world, go see different countries, different places around the United States. Do that. Do your thing. Because the thing is, many people fail to realize this. When you get married, when you are a man and you decide to get married to a woman, it's not all about you anymore, brother. Women, when you decide to get married and make a man your husband, your king, it's not about you anymore. It's about your husband. Men, when you get married, decide to take a queen, it ain't about you no more. It's about your wife. And when you make decisions, you have to make decisions that includes the both of you. Okay? That's how that goes. It ain't about you no more. You know, you may want to go do something, that and the third, but you can't do it because you have a wife to consider. You have a husband to consider. And don't have any kids in the midst of this because now it's not only about you, it's about the kids. Your family comes first before any desire. At least that's how it's supposed to be. Your family is supposed to come first. This is the very reason why I say get all that shit out of your system in your 20s. Your 20s is a growing period. That's when you really find out who you are as an individual. You find yourself. You don't want to try to find yourself while you're in a serious relationship or a marriage. You want to find yourself beforehand. And oftentimes, most people put themselves in a position where they're not able to find themselves. Okay? You want to be able to know who you are. If you don't know who you are as an individual, how you expect to know who somebody else is? I mean, that's just common logic.
Watercolors Jazz.
So, your 20s are for you. That's a selfish moment. Do everything you want to do. By the time you turn 30, 31, 32, that's when you should just think about settling down and getting into a serious relationship or possibly entertain a thought of being married. That's when you should think about that. Now, me personally, that's just me. Anybody in their right mind would even consider getting married in today's, this day and age. Especially men. Especially us men, because let me tell you something, fellas. These laws, they ain't for us. This is not to sound male chauvinistic or anything like that, but these laws are designed for the ladies, not for us. They're designed for you. And more often than not, in a divorce proceeding, it's always the men that get screwed over. And if you got kids, you're gonna get screwed over twice. So the laws are definitely on your side, ladies. You know it, I know it. But by the time you turn 30, 31 years old, you done been to school, get yourself an education, you are an established person, you got a career going, whether it be working for somebody else or working for yourself. You should have A1 credit by this time. You should be able to bring anything to the table, and you should hook up with somebody that can bring anything to the table. And that's another thing. That's another area where people mess up at. You hook up with somebody that don't have as much to bring to the table as you. That's a huge mistake, because now you're gonna have one person leaning on the other person more harder than they should, where it should be an even balance. But it can't be an even balance if you got one that can't produce as much or can't bring as much to the table as the other. Your potential mate should be able to bring just as much to the table as you, and vice versa. So that is very important. That is very important, because finances is one of the leading causes of divorce. Finances, lack of communication, and lack of trust. Especially trust. I can't overemphasize that enough. But it's those three deadly things right there. The lack of trust, lack of finances, lack of communication. Those are the three things that you have to have in order to have a successful marriage, a successful relationship. If you don't have any of those three, you have nothing. Especially trust. If you don't have trust in a relationship, you don't have anything at all, period. You have to have that. If you don't have anything else, you have to have trust. If you don't have anything else, you have to have trust. You have to. So, now, you are 30, 31 years old. You finally meet the man of your dreams. You finally meet the woman of your dreams. You're established. They're established. You've done everything that you wanted to do in life. You saw the world. You fulfilled all your freaky dreams and fantasies and fulfillments. Vice versa. You've got everything out of your system. And now you are in a position or in a situation where, look, now I'm an established person. I got A1 credit. I can settle down now. I can be with one individual. And then, and only then, can you ever hope to have a successful relationship. And also, while you're building that relationship, one thing that you want to have, you gotta have God in your life. Wherever your religious persuasion may be, whoever you call God, who goes by many names. And that's another thing. You got to have the same beliefs and religious convictions or spiritual convictions. You don't want to be unequally yoked in that area. You want to be on the same page. You want to be on the same wavelength. All right? So while you're in this relationship, you definitely want to include God in your relationship, because along with trust, along with finances, and along with communication, if you got God in your relationship, you will have a successful relationship. You will have a beautiful marriage. You will have a marriage that will stand through the test of time. You won't have one of these marriages that you want to stay together for a couple years, and then you end up being in divorce court. If you're a man, you end up being broke. You don't want to be in that situation. Anyway, Leave me some thoughts in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. Peace and blessings. Query. I'm out.